The courtroom shook as if an earthquake had hit, but not from the ground, from the voice of the clerk when they read the verdict. The Las Vegas hearing was shoulder to shoulder full, and even in the hallway the muffled gasp made its way through the crowd. No cameras were allowed in, but the shock was indistinguishable. Mary Brown and Yanel Brown are hereby granted judgment. Robyn's manicured hand slipped out of her lawyer's arm. Her face went pale, her eyes flicking between the judge and Cody as if pleading for some sort of reassurance. Cody simply stood stock still, mouth open, eyes blank, like a man seeing his house disappear into quicksand. The court had decreed that the $1.2 million Flagstaff mansion and other homes Cody gifted to Robyn were fraudulent attempts to prevent Mary and Yanel from getting their due share. And that's when the judge brought the hammer down, not on their property, but on their lifestyle. The directive was unmistakable: the mansion would be taken, auctioned, and the proceeds given directly to Mary and Yanel. The courtroom air was thick with Robyn's labored breathing. She'd lost not only a house, she'd lost her financial support system. And if the gossip from Mary's attorney was accurate, her reputation in the public eye was soon to be destroyed as well. 2 weeks prior, Flagstaff residents saw the unthinkable: a moving truck outside Robyn's one-time glamorous house. She was in the driveway, surrounded by an oversized sweatshirt, hair knotted into a tousled bun, eyes swollen and red. Kitchen and kids' room boxes were strewn about, as well as one labeled in bold letters, "Legal papers, do not lose," were piled haphazardly about. Across the street, the neighbors murmured, "She always held herself above everyone, now look." Cody followed behind the truck, his feet scuffling up gravel, golden curls sticking with sweat, pale face strained. The man who used to boast about being the lion of his family now appeared defeated. The eviction officer came up, voice flat and professional. "Deadline is 4 p.m. to move off the property." Robyn's jaw clenched. "This is not right," she snapped, voice shaking. The officer did not flinch. "Court order remains." What came next flipped years of humiliation on its head, but not Robyn's. Only 300 meters from there, Mary was drinking coffee in her refurbished home, scrolling headlines like they were lollipops. Robyn loses mansion in court ruling. Sister wife star faces eviction. Yanel phoned, her voice nearly radiant. "You saw it?" Mary settled back, grinning. "Oh, I saw it." Mary had been overruled in her own marriage for 10 years while Robyn basked in Cody's devotion and their riches. Now their positions were reversed. "She believed her phony tears would bury us," Mary sneered. "She's crying for real now." The eviction broke something within Cody. Friends saw him driving around Flagstaff at random hours, stopping in front of restaurants but never entering. Production for TLC ceased, technically to regroup, but sources claimed he simply wasn't able to bear the embarrassment in front of the cameras. When a tabloid reporter pressed him regarding the case, Cody lashed out, "Mary and Yanel didn't win. We all lost. It's a corrupt system." In his heart, however, he knew he had been outmaneuvered. Mary and Yanel had retained a forensic accountant who methodically traced Robyn's property transfers and money shell games. It was ironclad proof, Cody's defense in tatters. But if you thought losing her house was the bottom, Robyn was only just beginning. 2 months later, Robyn lived in a humble rental house on the outskirts of Flagstaff. The walk-in closets were a memory, the sweeping staircase, the manicured gardens. Now she ironed laundry in a small living room while the children argued over schoolwork. Cody, resentful and agitated, had begun sleeping in his own room. He could hardly manage to pay her rent for the upcoming month. Meanwhile, Mary and Yanel were flourishing, developing businesses, building assets, and reserving luxury vacations months in advance. And the sweetest triumph was seeing Robyn suffer the same public shame she once believed would never come her way. 3 weeks since the eviction, Robyn slumped over her computer in the dark kitchen, an army of dusty coffee mugs encircling her. Her eyes were puffy from crying for hours on end. A yellow notepad was by her side, covered in frantic scribbles: "File defamation suit. Uncover Mary's secrets. Find dirt on Yanel. Use TLC contract to its advantage." Cody slunk in, dressed in the same hoodie he'd been wearing for days. "What's all this?" he grumbled. Robyn's gaze intensified. This is how we fight back. We're not going to sit here while they dance on our graves. People need to know who they really are. Cody winced, massaging his temples. This is just what they want, for us to be guided by desperation and stupidness. Ignoring him, Robyn phoned a gossip blogger she'd met on TLC press tours in the past. For exclusive quotes, the blogger guaranteed a sympathetic piece. 2 days later, the banner read, "Robyn Brown speaks out, sister wives betrayal exposed." Robyn framed herself as the victim of decades of envy, saying Mary and Yanel had conspired for years to sabotage her marriage and tarnish her reputation. But Robyn did not know, her next step would blow back in a way she could never take back. Robyn believed she had her moment. By suggesting mysterious, incriminating secrets regarding Mary and Yanel, without divulging details, she hoped to trigger public suspicion. It appeared to succeed for 2 days. Social media was set ablaze with arguments. A few die-hard fans rallied behind her, while others asked what truth she was keeping to herself. Then Mary struck. Until then, Mary had remained quiet after being evicted. But here she was, appearing on Instagram Live with hair done perfectly, blazer razor sharp. "Does Robyn want to discuss betrayal?" she started, voice icy and calm. "That's fine. Let's discuss." Over the next half hour, Mary took Robyn's accusations apart bit by bit. Mary had receipts for Robyn's active participation in the scam transfers of property, as well as text messages in which Robyn told Cody to hurry before they figure it out. She finished with one searing sentence: "I didn't destroy Robyn's life. She destroyed her own when she decided on greed over family." The show went viral. Hashtags such as #ByRobyn and #MaryWins trended on the top. By the morning, Robyn's phone was filled not with sympathy but with angry DMs and scornful memes. A popular TikTok, Robyn, after losing the house she stole, used a video of her pretending to cry in a previous Sister Wives episode. Brands that formerly sent her complimentary products discreetly dropped her. On TLC's own social media platforms, Mary and Yanel posts were suddenly receiving a whole lot more attention than anything bearing Robyn's name. Cody was furious. "I warned you not to rouse the bear," he snarled. "Now you've gotten us into the position of being the hypocrites and them the saints." But Robyn's worst moment was yet to come. She appeared, unbidden, at a public charity gala where Mary and Yanel were giving a speech. Cameras surrounded her. Microphones picked up Mary cracking a smile as she strode by and stated, "Look. The eviction tour continues." Laughter in the audience spread. Robyn stood stock still. The sound stung her like a blow. She exited before the speeches were even underway, fleeing to her rental car to confront the reality. Her retaliation had wounded neither Mary nor Yanel, it had ruined her own reputation. A week later came the email, "Contract review urgent." At TLC's Flagstaff production office, Robyn and Cody were handed a document by Dana, a network executive who wasn't swayed by Cody's usual charm. "Viewer sentiment has shifted," Dana said plainly. "Robyn, you're now the most disliked cast member on Sister Wives. When you're on screen, ratings drop. When you're gone, they go up. Advertisers notice." The bottom line was brutal. The network was considering removing Robyn entirely, either phasing her out mid-season or giving her a short farewell arc. Back in the car, Robyn broke down. "They want to get rid of me," she sobbed. Cody gripped the steering wheel so hard his knuckles went white. "If they cut you, I'm done too." But the truth gnawed at him, they couldn't survive without the show's paycheck. Desperation led him to phone Dana that evening. "If you harm her, you harm me. We're a package deal." Dana's response was glacial, "Then perhaps we sever the package." A week later, TLC's legal team offered Cody a counter: remain on the show without Robyn, work to repair his relationships with Mary, Yanel, and Christine in front of the camera, and they'd retain him as a central character. They referred to it as a redemption story arc. Cody recognized it for what it was, a betrayal packaged in compensation. When he presented Robyn with the offer, she turned pale. "So you have to choose between the show and me?" she asked. Cody remained mute. The silence was enough of an answer. Mary, alerted by a producer friend, didn't gloat on social media. But she did share a cryptic Instagram image on her porch, captioned, "Some things just work themselves out." The comment thread imploded with conjecture, and fans tagged Robyn incessantly. Drama in the rental reached a boiling point 2 nights before Cody was to make his decision. Robyn, sobbing, paced through the living room. "So I was just a prop for your career," she yelled. Cody retorted, "And will be bankrupt in 6 months if I don't take it." He slammed the door to the spare bedroom, and the battle raged until midnight. For the first time, Robyn understood she could lose Cody, not to some other wife, but to the very cameras that had once made her feel invincible. Decision morning arrived with dawn. Cody sat at the kitchen table, the contract in front of him. Robyn sat across from him, her eyes puffy from another night of no sleep. "You don't have to do this," she breathed. "Yes, I do," he said without inflection. He signed on the line with his pen. Not with Robyn. Robyn's stifled gasp was the only noise in the room other than the scratch of the pen. "You used me for a paycheck," she said. Cody didn't glance up. "I sold out both of us so we wouldn't be living on ramen for a year," undefined within 48 hours, TLC made it official. Every entertainment website ran the same breaking headline. The news landed like a public shaming. Cody Brown to reconnect with ex-wives as TLC picks up sister wives for a thrilling new season. The phrase choice, ex-wives, excluded Robyn with a painful light. TV entertainment shows didn't hesitate to display side-by-side comparison shots, Robyn's tears and cringe-worthy recent interviews alongside shots of Cody smiling alongside Mary and Yanel from the past. The juxtaposition was cruel. Mary and Yanel, on the other hand, were doing well. TLC's initial promotional photo shoot for Season 2 was hosted at Mary's Inn, with the two women giggling over coffee on the porch, looking through old photographs in albums. When a journalist questioned Mary about filming with Cody again, she smiled warmly and replied, "It's nice working with people who value family." The words were courteous, but the bite was bitter. Yanel added, "Good to have the spotlight on the actual history, not distractions." Everyone knew who the distraction was. Robyn attempted to fight back. Recording herself in her vehicle, she uploaded an Instagram video, sobbing as she accused them of remaking history. "I'm Cody's wife. I was his wife," she declared. But the remarks were ruthless, gifs of individuals munching popcorn, laughing emojis, and constant reminders that she'd lost in court. Even her own loyalists were tiring. When the show returned in a new season, TLC editing made it abundantly clear where they were at. The first shot saw Cody entering Mary's Inn, embracing Mary and Yanel to a cheerful soundtrack. The next shot cut instantly to Robyn, sitting in her rental by herself, gazing steadily out the window. Ratings went through the roof. Social media overflowed with #TeamMary and #TeamYanel, with jokes about poor Robyn going viral. Somewhere in the small, cluttered rental, Robyn came to the unthinkable realization she'd once been the queen of the Brown family. Now she was simply a supporting character in somebody else's fairy tale. Desperate, she went to a downtown Flagstaff law firm, sitting across from Vanessa Cortez, a tough, unimpressed lawyer. Robyn pushed a copy of TLC's press release across the desk. "They can't just cut me out. I've worked on the show for years," she replied. Vanessa steepled her fingers. "Legally, yes, they can do that. But perhaps we have a case if we can establish that your dismissal was part of an attempt to defame you." Robyn's eyes sparkled. Mary and Yanel, years ago they were planning this. In a week, Robyn threatened to sue TLC on charges of emotional distress, wrongful firing, and defamation. The network had a thick envelope imprinted with legal notice sent to it. She also threatened to spill behind-the-scenes muck, accusations of producer manipulation, scripted scenes, and personal impropriety. The letter exploded at the headquarters of TLC. A few execs advocated a behind-the-scenes settlement, others dared her to call their bluff. Dana, the same executive who'd frozen her out earlier, was to the point, "If she plays this game, we respond with nuclear force." When Cody heard about the lawsuit, he blew up. My show is getting sued. TLC is the only thing that's preventing us from being bankrupt, he yelled, pacing back and forth like a man in a cage. They made me out to be a fool, Cody. You let them, Robyn snapped back. Cody pounded his fist on the counter. You're going to ruin the one thing keeping us solvent. Neighbors later informed reporters they'd heard shouting and shattering glass that evening. Mary and Yanel, sensing weakness, went into full PR mode. In a People magazine interview, they leaned into themes of truth and transparency. We've had enough drama without creating it, Mary said, a pointed reference to Robyn's lawsuit. We've moved forward, Yanel added. Some people just can't seem to do that. The article painted them as resilient survivors. Robyn came across as bitter and entitled. TLC's lawyers concluded to speed up Robyn's deposition, compelling her to acknowledge that some of her claims against Mary and Yanel were founded less on fact than suspicion. Worse, when she accused producers of twisting her story, the legal team introduced previously unseen texts indicating she'd asked for scenes to be staged so that she might be portrayed sympathetically. The lawyers for the network chuckled as they left the room. When the deposition leaked, headlines blared, Robyn Brown's TLC case falls apart, found to have sworn to outrageous lies. Sponsors disappeared overnight. Even her own relatives ceased responding to her calls. Embarrassed, Cody started spending nights out, rumors spreading that he was sleeping at Mary's Inn. TLC capitalized on the chaos for the season finale. While Cody filmed with Mary and Yanel in another city, cameras lingered on Robyn alone at her kitchen table, staring at a pile of overdue bills. I thought I'd be the last wife standing, she said through tears. Now the family's story doesn't even include me. The final shot was from the point of view of her phone, of Mary, Yanel, and Cody laughing together at a restaurant, before blacking out on Robyn's quiet, trembling shoulders. When season 2 commenced, audiences were greeted with a stark, nearly pathetic sight, Robyn at 2 a.m. in her darkened kitchen, alone, scarfing down cold cereal from the box, sweater-stained, hair not brushed. And there it was, the former untouchable queen of the Brown family having fallen as low as possible. Stacks of unopened envelopes, most of them stamped final notice, loomed in the shadows of Robyn's cramped kitchen. Her bank account was all but depleted following the disastrous lawsuit. Most of the family funds were invested in Mary and Yanel's business ventures, so even Cody's intermittent on-camera checks were enough only to keep the lights burning. And with TLC severing all future income for suspected contract violations, Robyn stood financially adrift. In a gloomy confession, she said, I thought being quiet and sweet would protect me. But now? I know nobody's saving me. Committing to rebranding herself, Robyn started a new social media initiative, Second Chances with Robyn. Her content included thrift store shopping hauls, making cookies with her children, and open conversations about humility and redoing. Initially, some fans gave tentative endorsement. But doubt soon began to set in. Posts blamed her for crocodile tears and a pity rebrand. The tipping point arrived when she posted a video complaining about supermarket prices, with a gold Cartier watch she had not removed. The video went viral, for all the wrong reasons. Then, on a rainy afternoon, her phone jolted to life with a blocked number. She almost didn't pick it up, until the voice spoke, saying, Robyn, it's Christine. Christine, the woman who'd called her manipulative on national television, now spoke with a measured, almost dispassionate tone. I believe we can assist one another, Christine stated. Come see me. No cameras. In a small coffee shop on the outskirts of town, Christine pushed a manila envelope across the table. Within were yellowed production calendars, unshot footage logs, and incomplete transcripts of Cody's off-the-record conversations with TLC executives. This, Christine said, could ruin his entire golden boy persona. If we leak it just right, we both win. Robyn's eyes narrowed. Why assist me? She inquired. Christine leaned back, taking a sip of her coffee. Because I don't want him to win. And at present, you're the sole one desperate enough to hang in there with me. The partnership was sealed, on one stipulation: Mary and Yanel could never be told. Robyn and Christine convened secretly over the course of the next month, swapping receipts and rooting through their archives. The further Robyn descended, the more incendiary the material got, clips of Cody yelling at crew members, mocking his own kids off camera, and conspiring to oust relatives from contracts for more money. Robyn gazed at one document and said, "This is nuclear." Christine smiled. Exactly. The leak was like a bombshell. Entertainment Tonight released an exclusive, Cody Brown's off-camera outbursts exposed. Footage of him screaming at producers, mocking his children, and ridiculing Mary went viral. TLC rushed for damage control, but it was too late. Even Mary and Yanel publicly disassociated themselves from Cody. In the season finale, Cody confronted Robyn in the rental's living room. His voice shook. "You did this." Robyn didn't blink. "Cody, you left me with nothing. I told you, push a person into a corner, and they'll strike back." Then, coming down the hallway, was Christine, a surprise the cameras had been anticipating. She and Robyn locked a knowing stare as the camera cut to a close-up of Cody's shocked face, a combination of anger and realization. Behind the scenes, TLC executives were abuzz. The leaks had driven ratings through the roof. They could smell blood and a show. The strategy? The Brown Family Truth Summit, a multi-day family reunion at an exclusive Sedona resort, all 5 major players on camera, no excuses. The invitation was carefully worded, "Refuse, and you lose your paycheck." Mary and Yanel jumped at the chance. Christine was slower, then finally agreed, realizing she could be the last to strike. Robyn read her letter aloud 3 times, muttering, "It's a trap." Cody grunted only once, "If we don't go, we're done. At least then we get paid." The set looked like a hybrid between a boxing ring and a therapy circle, plush chairs under soft lighting, cameras everywhere, even overhead rigs to catch the smallest flicker of emotion. Host Leif Foster opened with a challenge, "We're here to either burn bridges, or clear the air. Either way the truth comes out." Day 1 was tense but restrained. Polite smiles. Witty jabs. But everyone knew the gloves were going to come off. Christine got in the first blow on day 2, "Cody, do you want to discuss the time when you told producers Mary's work was a waste of camera time?" Gasp. Cody's face turned red. "That's out of context." Christine interrupted him. "No, it's totally in context. I have the audio." She hit play. Cody's own voice rang out, ridiculing Mary's work. Mary sat back, her smile cold. Not to be outdone, Mary produced a color-coded, neatly organized folder. "Since we're sharing, here are the receipts of each payment you channeled to Robyn while reporting to the rest of us that there was nothing left." Every number she read stung like a gut punch. Robyn shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Cody gazed down at the floor, hoping the chair would devour him whole. Lee leaned in with a rhetorical question. "Robyn, were you aware the rest of the family didn't know about the transfers?" Robyn's voice trembled. "I didn't feel I had a right to ask." Across the circle, Christine emitted a snap, nasty laugh. By the final day, all decency was gone. Yanel ripped into Cody, blaming him for using loyalty as a weapon and pitting wives against each other. "He's a man who can't lead without destroying what he's leading," she stated. Christine chimed in, pinning Robyn down. "You attempted to make Mary feel guilty by telling her she was cold to you from the get-go." Mary cut her off with glacial accuracy. "I was cold because you came in with a knife and a smile." The screaming reached a fever pitch before Lee had to intervene physically between them. Producers didn't dare cut, it was ratings gold. The mayhem reached a boiling point in the closing minutes of the season. Cody tore off his mic, stormed out, and flung the lodge doors so violently they rattled the cameras. Mary, Yanel, and Christine, nearly laughing, stood firm as Robyn pursued him in tears. The final scene was all theater, the 3 women walking off into Sedona's sunset with Robyn's sobs behind them. The aftermath, TLC's cameras rolled on. It was a snowy early morning at Robyn's rental when the crunch of tires shattered the quiet. Robyn, who had been expecting a delivery, looked through the blinds, only to spot a sheriff's SUV and 2 deputies in uniform. They weren't here to discuss. One raised a court order, the seal catching the cold light. Mrs. Brown, this property is under repossession effective today. You have to leave today. Robyn's mouth fell open. No, this can't be happening. I appealed. The officer shook his head. The judge denied it yesterday. We're here to serve the order. From the hallway, her children's voices echoed through the air. And that's when Robyn realized the cameras were already inside her home. TLC had been taping her for days, just waiting for this moment. Producers whispered into earpieces. And back across town, Mary and Yanel signed papers in a cozy, wood-paneled law office, under the watchful eye of their lawyer. It's official, he smiled. You now jointly own the Coyote Pass parcels, and complete legal authority over the family media royalties, which were formerly in Robyn's LLC. Mary relaxed back with a smug grin. Good to finally have the truth acknowledged after all those years of being disregarded. Yanel laughed for the first time in months. Today's the last day Robyn runs this family like her own business. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Mary looked straight into the cameras. We're done being quiet. Robyn's final public collapse. By the time Robyn packed her last bags into a rented pickup, the street was lined with neighbors and news crews. Cody showed up in his frayed leather jacket, eyes scanning. This is harassment. You're all vultures, he yelled at reporters. However, when someone asked, Cody, is it true the court ruled you and Robyn guilty of poor financial management? He stiffened. Robyn's face contorted. They are distorting everything, she wailed. We just wanted to protect our family, and now they've taken everything away from me. Mary and Yanel's new beginning. As Robyn and Cody sped away, Mary and Yanel were in discussions with a publisher for a tell-all book. You know Robyn and Cody are going to sue, don't you? The editor said. Yanel smiled. Let them. The truth is the best defense. They set about organizing years of receipts, PayPal donations channeled into Robyn's company, and scribbled notes, each item casting a more sinister light. In a small two-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of town, Robyn unloaded dismatched plates. Cody strode back and forth beside the window. They are waiting for us to make a mistake, he growled. Watching us. Robyn's voice broke. They already have, Cody. He whirled on her. Don't you dare lay this on me. Their fight rattled the walls. Neighbors informed producers later that they could still hear Robyn crying long after the yelling ceased. For the first time since the court decision, Mary, Yanel, Cody, and Robyn were before each other in a live reunion special. Mary stared Robyn straight in the eye. You manipulated us and took over through Cody. You stole from your own family. And the court agrees. Robyn turned pale. I loved this family. I was trying to salvage it. Yanel interrupted. Salvage it? You bankrupted it. The live chat went haywire. Hashtags #Robyn exposed and #Team Mary Yanel were trending for hours. By the end credits, one thing was clear. Robyn and Cody's public image wasn't just bruised, it was done.